We're going to talk about how to edit a photograph in Pixlr Editor so that it's ready to upload to your digital portfolio. The first thing you're going to want to do is, once you are logged in to Google, you want to go to your apps bar and select the store. In the Google store, you're going to find the Pixlr app, and let's see if I'm going there. Here we go. So I'm going to type in the search bar right here, Pixlr, and I'm going to scroll down and select the Pixlr Editor. Once that's up, you can click on it's so far every time I searched for it, it's the very first option, and it looks like this. Once you have selected it, you're going to click on it. Your button will be blue and it'll say free. Once you've done that, you'll be able to open it up in your apps. So we'll go back here to the apps, and it'll show up right here as one of your app selections that you have in your Google Drive. So I'm going to click on, or I've already clicked on that, but when we launch the Pixlr Editor, you get a download screen, and this is what it looks like. So for you, you're going to, I think the easiest way on the Chromebook to open this is to click on Open Image from Computer. When you open your image, you're going to have an option to open an image from Google Drive. Since I'm not using a Chromebook, that image isn't available for me. So the easiest thing for me to do to get an image that I would like into Pixlr is for me to go right into Google Drive, choose my picture, and let's see if we can do this right here. Okay. I'm going to select my photo. I'm going to right click on it, and I'm going to choose this Open With, and right here you can see that I can open it up with Pixlr Editor. Right then it's going to take a minute and process, and it will open in Pixlr Editor. As your image is loading, you're going to see a progress bar there giving you an idea of how long it's going to take for it to load. Just be patient and let it do its work. And once it's loaded, the picture will open right up and you'll see it. Okay, so one of the reasons why I selected this app to use for you with your Chromebook as I searched through many different photo editing apps was because of the similarity in tools that it has to Photoshop and also Corel Painter, which are two full setting programs that we use in the art room. And so this, because the tools are real similar, that's going to really help you as you're trying to edit your work. So the first thing I'm going to do is, I know you can't see quite all of this picture, but the first thing I'm going to do is go here to the image icon, the image tool up here in the toolbar, and I'm going to rotate the canvas, and I'm going to rotate the canvas clockwise 90 degrees. And when we do that, you'll see that we have this full image. Then the next thing I'm going to do is choose the crop tool, and right here, up here in the tools, you will see the crop tool, and I'm going to select that. I could, if I wanted to, I could constrain this, or I could set an output size for this. If you're going to print a picture, that is a really easy way to make sure that you're going to get an 8x10 or a 5x7 picture. That's really not that important for us right now, because what we're going to edit this for is to show it on our digital portfolios. So we could have it be whatever size we'd like, as long as it will load into the picture. The other thing I'm going to do is view, and I want to view and go to the View tab and select Show All so that I can see my entire picture at one time when I'm cropping. And that'll make it a lot easier. So I just move my cursor over the top of the picture, and I'm going to select and crop. And right now I'm going to try and crop out these magnets that were used to take the picture of this artwork for the student. And so as soon as I let go, you can see that I have these crossbars across the top of my image, and that's showing me very helpful information so that it can show me where my center of interest might lie in the rule of thirds, but that's something we can talk about in more detail at a later time as well. So I'm going to just adjust this a little bit more, And then if I double click on the image, now it's cropped. So you can see that we still have a few problems with our image. We could crop it more, but if we continue to crop, we might lose some of the good things that we had in the composition. And so that's something for you to think about as you're cropping, what's important for you to keep in your composition. So I might go ahead and crop this one more time and try to get rid of some of the details that really aren't going to affect the composition of the artwork. So you really want to be true to your original composition when at all possible. Right here I think would be okay to go ahead and crop this and frame that a little bit more. So you can see we still have some distracting elements in this image. We don't want to see any signs of these magnets at all in our image. So one thing that you can do is there's a tool that's called the clone tool, and right here it looks like a stamp, and I'm going to choose that tool, and if I hover on it, sorry, now that I've selected I can't hover and see the name of it, clone stamp tool, and once I've selected it you'll see it up here on the bar icon, and I can choose a brush size if I'd like, and do a whole bunch of different sizing options there, and that might be important as we go on. The other thing that is really helpful, okay, we haven't selected our clone area, is over here on this side of the screen on the right, we can zoom in on our object, and so I'm going to go ahead and do that because when I'm cloning and using that clone stamp tool, it's important that I have a bigger image to work with. The other thing is I can move around this little red box in the navigation screen so that I can get closer and right up close to where I want to work. So in order to choose the clone stamp tool to make it work, now that I have it zoomed in and I'm in the spot where I want to work, you use control, you push the control button in an area. I'm choosing this as the area where I want it to use these pixels right in this area that I've selected, that I'm hovering over to clone. So I'm going to choose control and click. I believe that's what I'm doing, control and click. And now when I hover and click, let's try this again. My control click is not working. I think it's because I'm on my Mac. So now I'm going to try it again. I'm going to control and click at the same time, and now I should have selected an area, and when I click and drag, you can see that I am covering up I'm replacing those pixels in that picture with the area that I want to clone. So you can see how that's changing that area right there. I'm going to have to do control and click again so that I can get the pixels a little bit closer, because as you get closer to it you start picking up what's in the image. So if I wanted to go over here, I could totally mess this image up so much that it just isn't going to look anything like the image. So if I go over here to the history tool, I can delete, I believe, what it is that I've already done. At least that's how I do it in Photoshop. So let's see what happens if I want to delete what I've done. Well, the old trick, standby trick for undo, is Control and Z. So we're going to do that a couple times to get rid of the spots that I messed up. There's another option when Control click is not, when there's too much information and when you're trying to clone, you just can't get a nice clean picture, is you can paint over this area with the background color, and that might be the easiest way for us to fix this problem right here in the corner. So I'm going to come here to my eyedropper tool. That's going to let me come here and choose a color that I would like it to be, and I want it to be kind of realistic. So here's my color right here, and now that I've clicked in the area, you can see down here in the left hand corner that that's the color that is going to be chosen for me to use. And now I can go to my brush tool and I can click and paint over with that color. And that might be the simplest way to fix this painting. Now it looks like it's a little darker than the color that was right around here. So I could just simply re-pick my color, and I'm going to choose a color right here this time. And that should make it a little lighter. So then I'll go back, choose my brush, and I'll repaint. And so that color's a little closer, and I got a little close to my image. Remember, Control-Z is your friend if you mess up. And now I can paint that area again and have it look like I want it to look. Now sometimes when you're getting closer to an image or a part of your image that you really don't want to paint over, you can change your brush size right here, and I might want to go to a little bit smaller, well, quite a bit smaller brush, and that will help it so I can get a little bit more detailed in how close I am to my painting or to my image. So we've gotten rid of the magnet here, and let's go back down and see what other areas we want to fix. So right here, because there's so much going on as far as different colors, and it'd be really hard to choose one color and paint over it, I'm going to go back to my clone stamp tool, and I'm going to again do my control click, and then I can just simply use this tool to quickly clone over that magnet, and you can see how quickly that is gone. And I'm going to scroll around my image and check and make sure that everything looks great. And so that's really what I want to do mostly. If you, at this point, I think we've done a really good job editing this. I'm going to go ahead up here to my navigator bar, and I'm going to decrease that size so I can look at the picture as a whole and see if there's anything else that I need to change on that. So this is not the time to recreate your picture. This is the time to edit it just enough that it looks like a nice professional shot, and you could upload it to your portfolio. So now I'm done with it. I want to go to File, Save, and when I save it, I want to save it in Google Drive. And it's a good idea to save it as a copy, and if it's your image, you're going to want to navigate to your folder and save it with your name on it. So I'm going to click OK, and I'm thinking that when you open up Google Drive, you're going to have the option to save it in the spot where you would like it. So I'm going to pause this for a second while I go to navigate to my Google Drive and see if we can find the copy of the image.